500 million. Need I say more? Anyway, this is your boy Mean. Welcome to the channel where anime and manga means more. And this time we're reviewing One Piece chapter 708. The rookie and the OG, they bring it straight to Luffy. But then they end up fighting each other. Which makes sense because they don't care about each other. They both just trying to get to Luffy. Turns out the old head was worth 500 million. He was worth 500 million. And he cracked the continent with his headbutt. So I guess that's how he fights. That's how he was fighting. He kept headbutting stuff. But by now, his brain should be like marshmallow. You know, with all those headbutts. But his head is like super hard. Because my boy, the rookie, what's his name? How did I forget his name? Cavendish. He couldn't cut. He had a sword, but he couldn't cut through the guy's skull. But even though he was still strong, because he could take one of those headbutts, the strength of it, and not break. Luffy was able to hold, you know, the old head off, and his grandkids came and stopped him because they don't want to mess with the tournament and everything and stop, you know, not get that devil fruit and all that. And they held them off long enough for Luffy, you know, to make his escape and vanish. Then we head back to the tournament, and only the big dogs are left. Only the big names is left. Everybody else has been taken out. All the fodder and whatnot, they're done. It's only a few people left. And some of the couple of the big dogs, with G and Abdullah, they got taken out. So the only people left is, what's my man? Bellamy, leg glass master, whatever, Legly, whatever the dude named, the long leg guy. The King Boxer, his disciples or whatever, and Bartolomeo and Hack. Those are the only people that was left. And they said there's only 30 people left in the ring. So the people that was outside the ring, they're probably dead. So that means like 70 people got, because those sharks in that water, man, they ain't playing. But they not sharks. What are they? Fighting fish. They're not playing. Then we check out my man Bartolomeo taking a leak right in the middle of the tournament. So Hack goes to try to break that up. But when Hack attacks, his arm just busts. It just busts. So my boy Barto's got some ability. But to say all in all, this was a good chapter. This was a good chapter. Not much happened, but it was good. First thing first, Garp was a G back in the day. The dude went hard. He was ripping through 500 million berry bounty pirates back in the day. The dude was able to crack his continent with his head. Now, touching up on that, it's only one continent in One Piece. That's the red line, nothing else. So maybe it was one more before. But I'm thinking more so either he cracked the red line, but I doubt it because they didn't say red line, or it was just a big island because the One Piece world is only made of islands and one continent, which is the red line. So he must have cracked just a big island or something like that. Maybe. That's what I'm thinking. But for Garp to be able to rip through somebody like that, like when I first heard about him, you know, cornering what's my man, Gold Roger a few times, I'm thinking that he was just strong enough, you know, to hold Gold Roger off or something like that. These guys ain't playing. Garp, the fist, he was a G. He probably was, like, judging from what's going on and whatnot, he probably was somewhere near, like, probably around Rayleigh's strength. Maybe even stronger. But somewhere around that strength, he wasn't strong as Whitebeard. But somewhere around that strength level, it wasn't a joke back when Gold Roger was doing this thing. If you was in that era, like Sheik and them, you had to be on top of your game. People cracking continents. So, like what I said before, Whitebeard was able to like send just crewmates, just one guy to go take over whole pirate crews. Like if they had to fight a whole pirate, just send somebody, you know, one guy over there. Marco, go take care of that whole pirate fleet. That's how strong Garp was getting it in. The tournament is probably going to come down to Barto and Bellamy. All the other people's getting taken out. The only other person, there's only two other people that's going to, I think, would last up until the very, to Final Four would be Barto, Bellamy. What's my man from the long leggy McLegster, whatever, and the dude, the gladiator. What's it? Ricky. He probably is going to be the last ones. But like I said, it's going to come down to Bellamy and Barto. That's who I believe. They make the most sense. Barto's powers, I believe, may be force fields. Why? Because when Hack tried to attack him, it didn't look like something hit Hack. It looked like he hit something. Some invisible force or something like that. Now, with that stated, it's got to be some kind of, offset to his powers. Most of the time, they got some kind of weakness, or at least somebody weak to them. Like what you call my boy Inaru. His power was pretty much almost no weakness except for Luffy. Now with what's my man name Barto, Luffy and Bellamy, I think, is probably some people that can take that strength. If he's making force fields and they're cracking their skulls, hitting it, then Bellamy and Luffy would be a good matchup. Why? Because they can take a lot of blunt force because he's made of springs. So if he hits the thing, a lot of that recoil is going to go into that spring. So I'm not saying he won't be hurt, but he could take a lot more than, or it would make sense that he can take a lot more than a normal person because it'll go back into that spring. And Luffy's the same way. He's rubber, so it's not going to hurt him as much because that recoil is not going to kill him. So I think that Bellamy would probably be a good match for this guy. And they got to have some kind of weakness, though. Maybe he only could use it in certain places, or somebody who has hockey can sense where the force field is. Or maybe that is hockey. But I doubt it's hockey. That strong at that, at that range. It wasn't like the guy hit like next to his body. He was from range, good range. So I think he has an ability. But like I said, Bellamy, if it's force field or something like that, Bellamy and Luffy, they'd be a good match for him. One other thing I gotta say, Luffy has a long way to go. His grand pop was hitting hard. Garp hits hard. So for Garp to be able to rip through people like that, $500 million, somebody who's worth $500 million and he could rip through them guys, that means being Pirate King is up there, man. So Luffy's got to bring his game up. And it turns out, to me, it looks like he came a long way. Why? Because he's able to fight somebody at $500 million. And that's what it looks like. Because Luffy didn't go hard. Now, understandably, the guy's not at his full strength because he's older now. But I believe that Luffy can face, pirates with a $500 million bounty. Sorry about that phone. Don't pay no attention to it. He can face pirates with a $500 million bounty, maybe even $600 million, something like that. That's where he's at now. But he's got to get to the point where he can just take them out with one hit. Where like somebody says, I'm worth $500 million. He says, and what else is new? What's the big deal? That's the point he's got to get their phone. Anyway, go ahead and leave your comment. Let me know what you think. Rate the video and subscribe. And I'm out. Peace.